With love, Meghan begins where most holiday stories end. Not at the table, not with applause, but in the quiet decisions made before anyone arrives. This celebration is built on intention, not display. Every detail serves a purpose. Every gesture carries meaning. The goal is not to impress, but to welcome. Holidays shape memory, and memory shapes how people gather year after year. That is what is at stake here. Miss the beginning and the meaning is lost. This moment shows how care becomes atmosphere, how planning becomes warmth, and how love becomes structure. The viewer is not watching decoration or tradition. The viewer is watching how a space is prepared to receive people. What follows explains why this approach matters, how it reflects a deeper philosophy of hosting, and why modern celebrations are shifting toward this quieter form of connection. Stay with this story, because its value reveals itself slowly, and only to those who watch closely. The meaning behind the celebration. Every holiday celebration sends a message. It reveals priorities, values, and the emotional tone of the space long before the first guest speaks. With love, Meghan begins by making that message clear. This is not a display built for admiration. It is a gathering shaped by care. The foundation is intention. The central question is simple and deliberate. How should people feel when they enter? Comfort is chosen before presentation. Calm is chosen before volume. Nothing is hurried. Nothing is accidental. Hosting has always been a quiet form of language. In earlier generations, homes reflected limitation as much as love. Tables were set with what was available, not what was fashionable. Lighting was soft because it was practical. Seating was arranged to encourage conversation, not distance. Those gatherings were not documented, but they were remembered. This celebration follows that same principle. It values time over spectacle. It treats guests as participants, not as an audience. This approach matters because modern holidays often confuse visibility with meaning. When attention is divided, connection weakens. When everything is designed to be seen, very little is designed to be felt. With love, Meghan moves against that pattern. It reduces noise to restore focus. It slows the pace to allow presence. It shows that warmth does not appear spontaneously. It is built through decisions made long before the door opens. This first section establishes the logic behind everything that follows. Food is prepared with memory in mind. Conversation is shaped by space. Ritual is guided by restraint. Without this foundation, the celebration risks appearing decorative. With it, each element gains purpose. This is not simply a holiday environment. It is a considered approach to gathering people together. The viewer is invited to observe closely, because the meaning reveals itself gradually, through intention rather than display. The art of thoughtful preparation. Preparation defines the tone of a holiday celebration. With love, Meghan begins long before the first guest arrives. Every detail is considered. Every element is chosen to serve the purpose of connection. This is not about extravagance. It is about deliberate thought. The table, the lighting, the placement of each object, all reflect a single guiding principle: make people feel welcome. Food plays a central role. Recipes are selected not for trend or appearance, but for memory and comfort. Traditional dishes are prioritized, ones that carry history and meaning. Ingredients are sourced carefully. Every flavor is meant to evoke familiarity and reassurance. Even small touches, such as garnishes or serving vessels, contribute to the atmosphere. They are not decorative extras. They are part of a carefully orchestrated experience. Space is arranged intentionally. Seating encourages conversation. Pathways allow ease of movement. Guests are positioned to feel included rather than observed. Lighting is soft but sufficient, highlighting warmth rather than spectacle. Sound is considered, from the quiet hum of conversation to the subtle background music chosen for atmosphere. Nothing is random. Timing also carries significance. Meals are served when the moment feels right, not on a strict schedule. Rituals, from the opening toast to the passing of dishes, are performed deliberately. Each action is a statement of care, an invitation to engage fully. This attention to detail transforms preparation into a form of storytelling. The viewer begins to understand how small, purposeful choices communicate thoughtfulness and respect. What appears simple is in fact layered with intention. The next section will reveal how these preparations translate into the lived experience of guests, showing the emotional impact of thoughtful hosting. Observing carefully, the viewer gains insight into why with love, Meghan is not merely a holiday celebration. It is a lesson in connection, memory, and care. The emotional heart of the gathering. The true measure of a holiday celebration is not its decor or its menu, but the way it makes people feel. With love, Meghan demonstrates that emotional resonance is created intentionally through thought, care, and presence. Every detail arranged in preparation comes alive in the interactions of guests. The space is no longer just a room, it becomes an environment designed to foster connection. Guests arrive and immediately sense the atmosphere. There is no sense of rush or pressure. Conversations begin naturally, flowing between familiar faces and new acquaintances alike. The lighting, soft and deliberate, frames each moment with warmth. The music, subtle and intentional, punctuates pauses rather than overwhelming them. Food is shared with attention to both taste and memory, each dish evoking familiarity, nostalgia, or curiosity. Small gestures carry significant weight. A hand offered, a seat adjusted, a dish passed with care, each action communicates respect and belonging. Guests are not observers. They are participants in a shared ritual of attention and generosity. This is how love is expressed during the holidays, not through extravagance, but through mindful engagement. By observing these interactions, the viewer begins to understand the philosophy behind the gathering. Every deliberate choice made in preparation translates into an emotional experience. Connection is not accidental. It is cultivated through space, timing, and consideration. This part of the celebration emphasizes the importance of human presence and attention. Modern holidays often overlook this, replacing it with visual spectacle. With love, Meghan restores the balance, showing that emotion, care, and participation are the true markers of a meaningful holiday. What follows will explore the rituals and traditions that further anchor this gathering, transforming it from a meal into a shared story of warmth and intention. Rituals and symbolic gestures. Rituals define the rhythm of a holiday celebration. With love, Meghan integrates them thoughtfully, ensuring each act carries significance beyond its immediate function. A toast, a shared dish, or even the folding of a napkin becomes more than habit. It becomes a statement of care and attention. These gestures anchor the gathering in intentionality, transforming ordinary actions into moments of meaning. The placement of items on the table is deliberate. Each utensil, plate, and centerpiece serves a purpose. Beyond aesthetics, these choices create cues for interaction and engagement. Guests are guided subtly, invited to participate without being instructed. This is the essence of mindful hosting, creating structure while allowing freedom. Food rituals further reinforce connection. Courses are served to encourage conversation rather than rushed consumption. Traditional recipes carry stories, some from previous generations, others rediscovered and shared anew. Each bite becomes a link between memory and presence, reminding guests of the continuity of care and the history embedded in the holiday. Small symbolic gestures punctuate the experience. Lighting a candle, sharing a handwritten note, or passing a dish with intention signals thoughtfulness and inclusion. These acts are subtle but powerful. They remind participants that celebration is more than a visual display. It is an emotional and social practice that binds people together. The viewer begins to understand that these rituals are not arbitrary. They create a framework for meaningful interaction. What appears effortless is the result of careful planning and insight into human behavior. With love, Meghan demonstrates that the value of celebration lies not in extravagance, but in the mindful orchestration of tradition, gesture, and presence. Observing closely, the viewer learns that every action contributes to the enduring memory of the gathering. The senses of celebration. A holiday is experienced not only through gestures and rituals, but through the senses. With love, Meghan ensures that sight, sound, and taste work together to create a complete, immersive environment. Every element of the gathering is arranged to evoke memory and emotion. The table is illuminated with soft lighting that glows warmly across plates and glasses. Centerpieces are modest but meaningful, emphasizing texture and natural beauty rather than extravagance. Sounds are equally deliberate. Conversation is encouraged by the gentle hum of background music, subtle enough to support communication without dominating it. Laughter and shared stories become the natural soundtrack. Even the clinking of utensils and the pouring of drinks is framed intentionally, reinforcing a sense of presence and attention. Taste carries history and connection. Traditional recipes, carefully prepared, link the present to the past. Each dish is layered with meaning. A familiar flavor recalls childhood memories. A subtle spice sparks curiosity. A dessert offers comfort and satisfaction. Eating becomes an act of engagement, not mere consumption. Every bite tells a story. Smell enhances memory. The aroma of baked goods, roasting vegetables, or simmering sauces greets guests immediately, establishing a sense of home and care. Fragrance signals warmth, presence, and preparation, grounding the experience in familiarity. By integrating the senses, the celebration becomes more than a gathering. It becomes an experience that participants feel, remember, and carry beyond the evening. With love, Meghan demonstrates that sensory details are not superficial, they are the glue of memory and connection. Observing the interplay of light, sound, taste, and aroma, the viewer begins to understand how deliberate sensory design transforms a holiday into a lasting, meaningful experience. Reflections and emotional transformations. The impact of a holiday celebration is measured most clearly in the reactions of those who attend. With love, Meghan designs every moment so that guests experience more than just a meal. They feel seen, included, and valued. As the evening unfolds, small expressions reveal the effect. A softened posture, a quiet smile, a lingering conversation. These are subtle, yet profound indicators that the gathering is successful in its purpose. Guests reflect on the care embedded in every detail. They notice the thought put into seating, the familiar flavors that evoke nostalgia, and the unobtrusive rituals that structure the evening. These reflections create an internal sense of warmth and connection. Even without words, participants understand the effort and intention behind each choice. The celebration communicates respect, attention, and consideration in ways that exceed any spoken message. Emotional transformations occur gradually. Anxiety or distraction gives way to calm engagement. Guests arrive preoccupied with obligations or expectations, yet leave carrying a sense of ease and fulfillment. The deliberate pacing, sensory richness, and symbolic gestures combine to create an atmosphere of gentle presence. People feel connected not only to the host, but to each other. Through observation, the viewer sees that with love, Meghan is not orchestrating events for spectacle. She is creating emotional architecture. The gathering becomes a vessel for shared memory, reflection, and care. Understanding this dynamic emphasizes that holidays are more than visual displays. They are opportunities for human connection. Each guest's transformation is a testament to the quiet power of intention, presence, and mindful celebration, revealing the lasting impact of thoughtfulness in practice. Lessons from a thoughtful celebration. With love, Meghan provides more than a holiday gathering. It provides a blueprint for meaningful connection. Observing the celebration, viewers can identify principles that elevate any event from routine to memorable. The first lesson is intentionality. Every choice, from lighting to seating to menu, shapes the emotional tone. Planning with care transforms simple actions into deliberate gestures that communicate warmth and attention. The second lesson is presence. Modern celebrations often prioritize appearance over engagement. This gathering demonstrates that connection is fostered when hosts are attentive and fully engaged. Small acts, such as listening carefully or offering a thoughtful word, cultivate inclusion and belonging. Guests respond not to grandeur, but to the sincerity embedded in every detail. The third lesson is rhythm. Timing matters. Meals are served deliberately, rituals are observed with attention, and conversation flows naturally. This pacing allows participants to experience each moment fully, rather than rushing through the event. Slowing down creates space for reflection, engagement, and emotional resonance. Finally, the celebration teaches that memory is anchored through sensory experience. Thoughtful food, lighting, music, and subtle gestures combine to create lasting impressions. Each element reinforces connection and care, ensuring that the gathering continues to resonate after the evening ends. Viewers are invited to apply these lessons to their own gatherings. A mindful approach does not require extravagance. It requires intention, attention, and care. By observing and implementing these principles, hosts can transform ordinary celebrations into experiences that are remembered, cherished, and meaningful. With love, Meghan demonstrates that holiday gatherings are not only about shared time, but about cultivating enduring warmth, connection, and thoughtful presence. Personal and cultural legacy. Celebrations are more than a moment in time. They leave a lasting imprint on both individuals and culture. With love, Meghan illustrates how a mindful holiday creates a legacy that extends beyond the evening itself. Each gesture, from careful preparation to intentional interaction, becomes part of the memory that guests carry forward. These moments influence how people understand care, connection, and hospitality. On a personal level, guests remember more than food or decor. They remember how they felt. They recall the warmth of attention, the subtle rhythms of conversation, and the thoughtfulness behind each action. These experiences shape future gatherings, inspiring participants to replicate care in their own homes. The legacy is not written in grandeur, but in the emotional impact left behind. Culturally, celebrations like this preserve traditions while adapting them to modern life. Recipes carry history. Rituals reflect shared values. Even small symbolic gestures reinforce the continuity of care across generations. Observing such celebrations reminds viewers that holidays are not solely public spectacles. They are private practices that maintain social bonds, transmit values, and strengthen communities. With love, Meghan demonstrates that thoughtful hosting can influence more than the immediate circle. It sets a standard for how gatherings can be approached, intentionally, attentively, and meaningfully. These principles, once observed, have the potential to ripple outward, inspiring others to prioritize care over display. Ultimately, the celebration becomes both a personal and cultural touchstone. It shows that mindful attention to detail, presence, and human connection leaves an enduring mark. Guests depart not only with memories, but with an understanding of what it means to celebrate fully, thoughtfully, and with love.